Hello class, today we are going to talk about section 5.3, solving percent problems using equations. We will use three separate formats of an equation to help us figure out how to solve for a percent, a part, or a whole. The first one we're going to use is to find out a percent. The equation format is the percent times the whole equals the part. In this case, you will always be given the whole and the part, and you will solve for the percent. When you solve for the percent, you will get the percent as a decimal and need to convert it to a percent. Please take a moment to pause this video and write down the equation format. Now let's try an example together. 250 students were surveyed. Of the 250 students, 179 say they spend at least an hour reading per week. What percent of students read for at least 1 hour per week? Since I'm looking for a percent, my unknown is a percent, so I'm going to call that P. I know I'm going to take my percent and multiply it by the whole. In this case, there were 250 students total, so that would be my whole, and that will equal my part, the 179 students. To solve for my percent, I would simply divide both sides of my equation by 250. When I divide 179 by 250, I get 716,000. So P equals 0.716. This is my percent as a decimal. To convert it to a percentage, I would have to multiply by 100 or move my decimal point 2 places to the right. When I do that, I get that it's 71 6/10%. Please take a moment to pause this video and record this example in your notes. The next equation format that we're going to talk about is finding a part. The equation format is the part equals the percent times the whole. Remember, the percent is always written as a decimal in these equations. Please take a moment to pause this video and write down the equation format. Now let's try an example together. What is 37% of 293? Well, I'm looking for my part, and I don't know what that is, so I'm going to go ahead and call that n, since I'm looking for a number. N equals the percent. Well, it's 37%, but I need to turn that to a decimal. To turn it into a decimal, I need to divide by 100 or simply move my decimal point 2 places to the left. So my percentage as a decimal is 37 hundredths. And I'm going to multiply that by my whole, 293. When I multiply 37 hundredths by 293, I get 108 and 41 hundredths. Therefore, 37% of 293 is 108 and 41 hundredths. Please take a moment to pause this video and record this example in your notes. The last equation format that we are going to explore is used to find a whole. The equation format is the percent times the whole equals a part. Remember, the percent is always written as a decimal in these equations. Please take a moment to pause this video and write down the equation format. Now let's try an example together. 45% of the hiking trails are flooded. 9 trails are flooded. How many trails are there? Well, my formula for solving this is the percent times the whole equals the part. My percent, 45%, I need to take and write as a decimal. To turn the percent into a decimal, I simply need to take my percent and divide it by 100 or move my decimal point back 2 places to the right. Or 2 places to the left, I'm sorry. When I move it 2 places to the left, I get 45 hundredths. Therefore, I'm going to have 45 hundredths times n, because I don't know what my whole is, that's what I'm looking for, equals 9. To find out how many trails there are, I simply need to divide both sides of my equation by 45 hundredths. When I do so, 9 divided by 45 hundredths is 20. Therefore, there are 20 trails total. Please take a moment to pause this video and record the example in your notes. Again, I would like you to take a moment to pause this video, try these 3 examples on your own. After you have done so, please resume the video and check your work. After setting up my equation in the first problem, I just need to divide both sides by 54 hundredths, and I get that there are 150 seats. If you notice, I had 54%, and I turned that into 54 hundredths before I solved my equation. In the second one, also noticed I turned my 27% into 27 hundredths before I multiplied it by 60, and got that 16.2 is 27% of 60. And the last example, I got my answer to be 205 thousandths, and I multiplied that by 100 to turn it into 20.5%. Before you finish taking your notes, please record the following questions as well as your answers to them in your notes and come to class prepared to discuss them tomorrow.